The legend of Atlantis depicts a technologically advanced city now lost beneath the sea. The dramatic downfall of Atlantis serves as a potent symbol of hubris and destruction. The story of Atlantis is rooted in ancient Greek manuscripts, particularly the works of Plato. These writings provide the earliest known accounts of the fabled sunken city. The primary source of information regarding Atlantis is traced to Plato's dialogues, specifically Timaeus and Critias. These dialogues serve as the foundational text for the Atlantis story. No earlier accounts or corroborating physical evidence of Atlantis exists outside of Plato's work. Therefore, the Atlantis narrative is essentially rooted in Plato's philosophical and allegorical writings. The Atlantis narrative is conveyed through oral storytelling within Plato's writings. This method of transmission is a hallmark of Platonic myths. The narrative structure emphasizes the story's philosophical underpinnings. Plato uses the Atlantis story to explore philosophical concepts. The oral tradition adds layers of interpretation to the Atlantis account. Understanding the storytelling context is crucial for interpreting the Atlantis myth. Critias provides detailed descriptions of Atlantis. The excerpts specify Atlantis' impressive size and scale. Atlantis is characterized by concentric rings of water and land. The text recounts Atlantis' war with ancient Athens. These details offer concrete examples of the narrative's content. The excerpts bring the story of Atlantis to life with vivid imagery. Plato's description of Atlantis shares structural similarities with his ideal city in the Republic. These similarities include a rigid class system and the presence of philosopher kings. However, Atlantis functions as a moral opposite to the ideal city, not a historical narrative. The shared structures highlight the moral contrast Plato intended to create with Atlantis. Atlantis initially embodies a utopian society, characterized by advanced civilization and prosperity. Over generations, the society of Atlantis gradually succumbs to corruption and moral decay. This corruption ultimately leads to Atlantis' military defeat at the hands of ancient Athens. As punishment for their hubris and corruption, the gods destroy Atlantis, reinforcing the story's allegorical nature. The map depicts the ancient world, highlighting the Pillars of Heracles. This location is specified by Plato as the site of Atlantis. The narrator draws attention to the implausible size of the purported island. Atlantis is described as being larger than Libya. Atlantis is also said to be bigger than Asia combined. This immense scale challenges the geographical plausibility of Atlantis. The concept of a continent sinking in the Atlantic lacks geological support. Dr. Brenner highlights the absence of evidence for such a large-scale event. The idea of a sunken continent is more for dramatic effect. It should not be taken as an accurate geographical representation. The narrative prioritizes storytelling over geological plausibility. Renaissance scholars misinterpreted Plato's story as historical fact. Psychics like Edgar Cayce also treated Plato's narrative as historical truth. Nazis similarly misinterpreted Plato's story, using it for their own purposes. These interpretations mark a shift from philosophical allegory. This shift progressed towards pseudoscientific pursuits. This montage visually represents the evolution of misinterpretations over time. Ignatius Donnelly linked Atlantis to various ancient mysteries. The Atlantis myth was later appropriated by mystics. The Atlantis myth was also appropriated by Nazis. These appropriations twisted the Atlantis myth to fit specific agendas. Such reinterpretations highlight the dangers of distorting science. Misinterpreting science can lead to the propagation of myths. Speculative documentaries often employ quick cuts to create a sense of excitement. These documentaries may present sonar maps and underwater formations as evidence. Features such as rock formations are often sensationalized and mislabeled, for example, as Atlantean roads. This approach lacks scientific rigor in the search for a historical Atlantis. The myth of Atlantis continues to captivate audiences in modern media. Films frequently depict Atlantis as a technologically advanced underwater civilization. Comics explore Atlantis' rich history and the powers of its inhabitants. Video games often feature Atlantis as a hidden world with unique challenges and treasures. New Age movements incorporate Atlantean themes, such as crystal power, into their beliefs. The Atlantis myth resonates due to its embodiment of several archetypes. These archetypes include the Golden Age, representing a perfect, idealized past. The myth also embodies the hubris fall, illustrating the consequences of excessive pride. Atlantis serves as a hidden clue, suggesting the potential for uncovering lost knowledge. People project their hopes and fears onto Atlantis, explaining the myth's lasting appeal. The quest to find a historical Atlantis embodies a longing for a more enchanting past. It represents the desire to identify a singular origin for all civilizations. The Atlantis myth taps into a yearning for a source of cultural genesis. The story of Atlantis serves as a warning about the dangers of technological arrogance. Atlantis symbolizes the potential consequences of unchecked technological advancement and pride. A modern deep-sea submersible explores underwater environments. The submersible investigates a natural volcanic formation. This exploration visually represents the challenges of finding physical evidence of Atlantis. The scene transitions to an Athenian academy, symbolizing philosophical origins. The story of Atlantis serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of arrogance and injustice. Atlantis represents the corrupting influence of unchecked power and moral decay. The narrative emphasizes the importance of philosophical reflection and ethical conduct. Ultimately, Atlantis is a story that continues to resonate, reminding us of the potential for societal downfall.